Hello, BookTube. I want to make a quick video response here, and I want to underscore the word quick. I've made a few videos today, and I love talking to you. I absolutely love making videos, especially when I'm in this new location. I am sitting on the bed. So my nether regions are not going numb. They're not sending alarm signals back to my brain. Nevertheless, my videos today have been exorbitantly long, and that just won't do. So I want to make a quick video response today, but I saw a video from Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, a great channel. I will link to her channel. She is married to Jason, the Old Blues Chapter and Verse. They both make BookTube videos, and they are the moral center of our little corner of BookTube. And you don't have to be surprised, knowing what some of you know about my opinions on some of what Jason likes and doesn't like. The moral center of our little corner of BookTube can still have crappy taste in movies. Okay, it's still possible. It's possible for him to do both. But if Jason and Kelly don't like you, you're doing something seriously wrong. They're as good a people as people get. And Kelly made a video about comments, about the phenomenon of comments on our BookTube channels. She mentions in the beginning part of the video that it's a little bit complicated when we're talking about comments from other BookTubers, because so many BookTubers, once they become friendly with each other, then start having personal communication, usually on the walkie-talkie app Voxer. I winced a little when she said that, because most BookTubers don't want to Voxer with me because I smell. I would like to Voxer with a lot more people than I do. But nevertheless, that does complicate things, because if you're having long conversations every week with somebody on Voxer, it's going to feel a little more formal and odd to leave a comment on one of their videos. That's kind of what you do if you don't have any other means. And I agree with that. It's a little bit awkward for me. I'm going to get to this later in my response here. It's a little bit awkward for me for a similar reason. Because I invite personal email conversation. Any of you can email me at any time about anything, which also makes the comments field seem a little bit wide of the mark. But I'll get to that. Because what I want to do as a response to her video, Kelly told me that I could make a response if I'm nice. No one is as nice as she is, but I will try my hardest. I will try not to yell. But I wanted to give a few basics of etiquette. Kelly was mentioning in her video that when she was first starting BookTube, she had the advantage of having a husband who was also a BookTuber, and who had done a survey of the lay of the land to give you an idea of some kinds of etiquettes that we observe. Nothing straight-laced, nothing, you'll be banished if you don't do it. But there are a couple of unspoken etiquette rules that are spoken once people make videos about them. Like, for instance, if you're doing a tag video, for instance, you want to make sure that you include credit to the original tag maker, if you can, if you know who they are. You want to make sure to link directly to them. You want to make sure to link directly to the person who tagged you and thank them. And you probably want to type out and list the questions. Just courteous, so that your reader can see the questions, especially in case they want to do the tag themselves. They don't have to go hunting around for the text. Things like that. There are little etiquettes like that govern all sorts of little bits and pieces of what we do on BookTube, and also more broadly on YouTube. One of the broader pieces of etiquette on the broader YouTube that definitely applies to BookTube is the type of person. We don't get it at all in this little corner of BookTube, but it does happen elsewhere, where people will leave a comment specifically in order to fish around for subscribers to their own channel. And they'll leave a link in the comment and say, great video, I have one up myself on the same subject, here it is, check it out. That is largely viewed as incredibly crass, and even in the rest of YouTube, where barbarians reign, it tends not to happen. People who do it once tend to be told rather sternly, don't do it again. That's going to cost you subscribers, not gain you any. But in our little corner of BookTube, it doesn't really happen. Things like that don't. But when it comes to comments, I wanted to list a few pieces of etiquette myself, because I get lots and lots of comments. I love just wading into them and responding to comments, as many as I can. And also that is, as I'll mention, that is enhanced by the fact that I invite you all to comment directly to me, not just on a comment on a video. But I have 4 items here as pieces of etiquette for comment leaving on BookTube. I thought I'd run them by you, see what you think, and maybe get you to cogitate on them and perhaps do them if you don't do them. Number 1 is avoid disassociative non sequiturs. Avoid being that weirdo at the back of the bus. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody makes a video about, let's say, a 20-minute long review of a Eudora Welty short story. And they make lots of cogent points, and they do a little reading from the story. And you get to the comments field and you see people saying, hey, great reading, oh, I like this story better than that one, or I have this to say about the story that you discussed. Don't leave a comment on that video that says, it rained here today. Okay? Don't do it. Don't be that kind of not medicated enough shambling person in the back of the bus who isn't talking to anyone. The comment is supposed to be a response to the video. I know it's called the comments, but it could more accurately be called responses. It's supposed to be a response to the video. If you watch a video like that, or like a video on my channel, and you leave a comment along the lines of, I had a dental appointment today, and that's that. You're not asking any questions. You're not saying, have you ever had a dental appointment? That would still be unacceptable. You're not linking it to anything in the video, and you're not trying to. Well, that's incredibly selfish. It's incredibly self-centered and a little bit weird. And there are people who do it. At least once a week, I will get a comment like that on a video of mine. I never know what to do about it. I honestly don't. I don't know what to do about it. It's never going to elicit a response from me, because the only response that it could possibly elicit from me would be scathing. It would be, you know, where'd you wander in from? And or did you just get hit in the head? It would be, okay, fine. It's raining where you are today, but why do I care? Why did you bring that up out of nowhere in the comments, the responses to a video that I spent 20 minutes making? Why are you doing that? And of course, the reason I don't do that is not only because I don't want to be snarky, but because there isn't an answer. Because some people just don't pay attention to what they're doing, whether they're online or not, but especially when they're online. They don't pay attention to what they're doing. And a piece of etiquette that I might propose here, very gently, very nicely, no yelling, would be that you do pay attention to what you're doing. Piece of etiquette number 2 is specific. There's a specific thing that's going around YouTube. There will be a quick comment. It will have heart emojis or a kissy face emoji, and it will be a comment along the lines of, I need a boyfriend, or I wish I had a boyfriend, or I wish you were my boyfriend, something like that. And the thumbnail will always be a pretty young woman. And this is a problem that has been on YouTube now in enormous widespread prevalence for a year. I mentioned it before on this channel a few times. That is a worm. That is a factory farm worm. It is hundreds and hundreds of people doing this. They've breached YouTube security. They have breached two-factor identification. It's incredibly serious. I don't know why those things still happen. I get those things appear on every video that I make. They are largely automated, and they are totally nefarious. They are totally poisonous. Don't ever click on one of those comments. Okay? That is piece of etiquette number 2. It's very specific. If you see a comment like that and you're thinking, well, I'm watching a video of Steve's, let's say, for instance, and he's going on about some book that he just read or whatever, and I see this comment, and I know he's not going to care at all. He's going to think it's stupid. But maybe I might want to click on this. Don't do it. Don't do it. That is the trap. And there are many, many instances where clicking on that link introduces malware into your computer, sometimes locking it up completely. It is a trap of such serious dimensions that it really mystifies me that YouTube is allowing this to go on, that they haven't devoted all their efforts to making sure this thing isn't rooting around in their system. And yet it is, because it's not just us. You can look at YouTube channels just in the broader ecosphere of YouTube that have millions of subscribers, and they get those comments all the time. On this channel, I try hard to police it. I try hard to flag and remove those comments so that you're not in danger of clicking on them. And that's a daily thing. Every time I post a video, I then have to go back 15 minutes later and just get rid of those comments, flag them as pornography, and remove them from the site and report them to YouTube. You would think that after a year of doing that on 3 videos a day, day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, that alone from one channel would have caused YouTube to pay attention to this. There have to be thousands of channels that are doing that same thing every day, and they haven't. They haven't eradicated it. They certainly have the means to do it, and they haven't done it. So piece of etiquette number 2 would be, if you see a comment like that, you know, luscious with heart emojis, or I'm lonely, or something like some variation on that, they easily stick out. They're not us. They're not anyone human. If you see a comment like that, don't engage with it. If you are another viewer leaving comments, don't engage with those comments. Don't click on that icon. And if you are a BookTube proprietor, if you are a booktuber, and in your backstage of your channel you see those comments, remove them right away. Remove them, report them, and remove them. You can report them as spam or as pornography. That's what they are. They're asking for sexual favors, so you can report them as pornography. And then remove them. Make sure they're not in your comments field, because your viewers are in danger from those comments. You don't engage with them yourself. Don't click on it yourself. Just flag it and remove it. So that's piece of etiquette number 2. Piece of etiquette number 3 is don't be a fight-picking a-hole. No, I'm not going to slang language, and I'm not going to raise my voice, because I told Kelly I wouldn't. But nevertheless, don't come onto a channel to pick a fight. Just don't do it. None of us are making any money here. We're all doing this for the fun of it, and to spend time with each other, and to get to know you. If you find this community and the first thought you have is, well, how can I rile people up? You're in the wrong place. There are some booktubers who will just ignore you. There are some booktubers who will feel intimidated by that, and there are some booktubers who won't like it at all and will get angry and may want to retaliate in kind. Some of them may want to retaliate in kind. You don't want to anger those people. And you don't want to irritate people anyway, even if you don't meet a booktuber like that. Don't come to a channel picking fights and being an a-hole. Don't come to a channel and say, hey, you pronounced this wrong, or you were totally wrong about this point, the government is actually doing X, Y, or Z, or anything like that. Phrase it conversationally in a friendly way, or stay silent, or keep your gob shut. And this is part of a broader piece of etiquette that applies not just to leaving comments, but just to how you spend your time. But it comes from that, and that is something I've mentioned on this channel before, but maybe it needs more stressing. I guess it always does. Hate watching anything is a total waste of time. And you don't have all the time in the world, okay? You are older looking today than you were yesterday. In about 10 minutes, you're going to be dead. So you don't have time. You don't have the time to waste on something as juvenile and psychologically bent as hate watching. So don't hate watch. Usually the persistent a-hole comments come from people who are hate watching the channel in question. What a waste of time. My time, your time, everybody's time. What a waste of time. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And again, don't expect a completely soft landing if you do. If you are a professional, semi-professional, if you're a dedicated YouTube troll and you make trouble on all kinds of, and before there was YouTube, you did it on Usenet talk boards or whatever, you just have this mental defect and you can't get rid of it, you won't rise above it. Don't be fooled by the friendly, communal, convivial atmosphere that we have here in this little corner of BookTube. We're not even like the rest of BookTube. Don't be fooled by how warm and convivial we are. There are some people in this little corner of BookTube, myself included, who will very much not like it if you do that. So don't do it. Just don't do it is my third point. My fourth piece of etiquette is something I've mentioned here already, which is just specific to me. I leave my email on every video. It's not an email to my merch store. It's not a dummy email that I check once a year or something like that. It's my email that you can just email me. It comes into my inbox, and I try my best to answer in some way, everything I can, unless you break one of the rules that I mentioned. If you use my personal email to send me a disassociative non sequitur, or you write a paragraph about your pet parakeet, you don't ever seem to be aware that there's someone else in the email exchange. You don't ever ask me a question. You don't ever mention anything like that. You're just I don't even know, disassociating. You're just having a psychological break. That's all. If you do that, don't expect a response. And also, if you pick a fight in my inbox, don't expect a response. I largely just delete those things. I rebut them if they're done in a comments field in public. Once or twice, I rebut them. If it keeps happening, I just block the person, because that's not what this channel is for. I'm not here to debate anything with any of you, except Brian at Bookish. But if you break one of those rules in personal correspondence, if you come into my email, in my inbox, breathing fire and telling me what a horrible person I am, don't expect a soft landing. Don't expect anything like that. But the fourth piece of etiquette here is a little bit odd, which is that some of my limitations when it comes to responding to comments on this channel might have to do with the fact that you have another avenue of communication up, and you can email me. So, but I also wanted to mention another. Those are 4 pieces of etiquette for comment leaving on our little corner booktube that I think most other of my fellow booktubers would agree with the first 3. That the first 3 really are things that you should think about and police yourself to make sure you're not doing. And then Kelly also mentions lurkers. One of the main reasons for her video was to call the lurkers on her channel to raise their hands and make themselves known. I had to laugh out loud when I saw that. Because she correctly points out that the number of subscribers that she has means that most of the people who watch her channel have never left a comment. That is certainly true on this channel, where a few dozen people leave comments, but thousands of people don't. I mean, an average video of mine ends up in a couple of days getting over 1,000 views. I certainly don't get 1,000 comments. So there are plenty of people who watch this channel without ever saying anything. And the reason I laughed out loud is because a lot of those people, a lot of my lurkers, let me know at periodic intervals. They will surface, say, "Hi, I'm a lurker from Wales. Okay, going back to lurking." And I always tell them, no, stick around. I need constant validation. Don't tell me that you're a lurker and then go back to lurking. But in this case, I would want to second Kelly's call to lurkers that you're not getting, as she says, if you're watching one of her videos, there has to be something that you like. Unless you hate watching her, there has to be something that you like. That is grounds for a relationship of some kind. She is absolutely right to point out that you're not getting the full experience out of this. If you leave comments, the comments can lead to more comments, they can lead to rejoinders, they can lead to discussions, they can lead to Voxer conversations, they can lead to friendships. If you don't do that, if you just lurk, you don't get any of that. All you get is the content. That seems to me to be a waste. But those are the main. So I would want to second her call for more lurkers to come forward and leave a comment. Those are my main rejoinders, and the main point that I wanted to make, that I wanted to stress, is one that's hinted at in her video as well, which is that this is a big subject, an important subject. The comments, the live comments on videos, is an incredibly integral part of what we're all doing here. It's an incredibly integral part of BookTube, especially this little corner of BookTube, where we tend to take our comments seriously, we take the community seriously, because we've all benefited from it. It's not like we feel any kind of duty. We've all benefited from that community so enormously that we take it seriously. We want to be part of it. We want to keep it going and invigorated. I want to point out, I want to stress that isn't true for most of the rest of YouTube. There are, outside of BookTube, there are YouTube channels that have 10,000, 15,000 subscribers, not even much. In the broader YouTube ecosphere, that's a tiny channel. But those channels never respond to comments, never even see them, never even look at them. And as much as I hate to say it, that is also true for the larger sections of BookTube, the broader world of BookTube. The larger subscription counts on BookTube also don't. They might answer a comment from a friend, but they don't do otherwise. And also they hate it. They don't consider it an important part of BookTube. They consider it a horrible byproduct of BookTube that they would eliminate if they could. These are the people, not all of them UK booktubers, although the ones that I have in mind, the ones that actually said this were all UK booktubers. These are the people who, when they used to get together before the pandemic with friends who were also content creators, would say, don't read the comments, don't feed the trolls, as though those two things were the same. That anyone who leaves a comment is a troll. These are the people who call their subscribers vermin. That attitude is prevalent. Scorning your audience is prevalent all over YouTube, and even on parts of BookTube. And that makes it all the more important. This is the main point of my response here. It makes it all the more important to treasure the way it is here. That is just a smaller fraction of my general sentiment about this little corner of BookTube, which is that we all ought to treasure it like nobody's business while we have it, because we're not going to have it for long. Sooner rather than later, YouTube as a corporation is going to monetize and incentivize all of these little friendly channels right out of existence. Why shouldn't they? If they can be making their bottom line from people who are playing ball, corporately speaking, why do they want us? They wouldn't want any of us doing any of this. And so I don't imagine that anything like this little corner of booktube will still be possible in 5 years, which is, not that long. So we ought to treasure this, is my point. And part of the thing that we ought to treasure is the wonderful nature of our own comments ecosystem in this little corner of booktube. It's wonderful. Discussions, debates can happen in comments fields, and those are tremendously invigorating and also touching. I remember the last time Brian at Bookish, the last time he said something I disagreed with on his channel, instead of emailing him or Voxering him, we just had it out in the comments field. We just went back and forth as in a debate in the comments section. It's tremendous fun. I know he enjoyed it as much as I did, but it was really funny on my part. It was really funny and really touching how some of his endemic commentators, the commenters who stick to his channel but don't really look at other channels, were rising to his defense. They thought we were serious. They thought I was some troll who just wouldn't leave their favorite booktuber alone. And Brian had to assure them that this debate was being carried on amidst gales of laughter between two friends, and seeing their protectiveness of their booktuber in the comments field. These were comments from people who don't make booktube channels of their own. They are just commenters. Really brought home for me that this is a wonderful part of the experience here. I was glad that Kelly made a video about it. I wanted to put in my 2 cents worth. You got a lot more than 2 cents in here, but I'm not going to let this video expand to an hour. Those are my points. I want to give you a few bits of etiquette. Don't pick fights. Don't lob non sequiturs about your dead cat or whatever. What was my third one? The I want a boyfriend worm that is going through BookTube and YouTube. That is an automated worm, and it is extremely dangerous. You could easily lose control of your computer and lose all your data. Don't have anything to do with it. And if you're a BookTube proprietor, get it off your channel as fast as possible without engaging with it. Don't click on it. Click on the flag on the notice of the channel and get it banned that way. But don't engage with that. If you're a viewer and you see that, don't engage with it, even out of curiosity, to figure out who is this that keeps doing this. It's not a person. It's a danger. So, but anyway, that was my overview of the comments section. And I would love to hear from the rest of you, all of you in the comments section, whether you have a BookTube channel or not, what you think of them. Not only here, but everywhere else on YouTube where you go. And I would love it if more booktubers would make videos about their own thoughts on the phenomenon of their own comments field. What fun that would be. I would love to watch those videos. But I wanted to leave this comment, and I'm hoping that I was nice enough. Nobody's as nice as Kelly, but I'm hoping I was nice enough to pass the threshold there. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.